What really happened to Peter Parker and MJ after the Spider-Man trilogy? Did they have a happily ever after tale, or was it something far more horrific? I'm here to propose to you a theory that Peter Parker killed Mary Jane Watson. Yes, don't leave, it's just true. And I'm not referencing the comic books where he accidentally, indirectly killed her. No, I mean he straight up murdered her. This story is far darker than anyone wants to admit, and there are clues that indicate this. I'm not just bullshitting here. There are clues within the No Way Home film, and within the unmade Spider-Man form fill that was scripted and storyboarded. There are clues that direct to what their relationship would have entailed afterwards. And then, bro, it might as well be a domestic horror story. By the time of No Way Home, by the time we see these characters unite, in his universe, she's already dead. Mary Jane Watson has already been violently killed. This is canonical and real. It's canonical to the MCU and Raimi's universe. I'm gonna break it all down, alright? Let's take MJ. We need to understand the basis of this relationship as it moved through the trilogy. She started off as this chick that Peter had a crush on, then she realized, oh, he's the only one who appreciates me and understands me and likes me and remembers all the things about me. I might love Peter. Second movie, she gets really, really toxic because Peter will not admit his feelings for her, will not go out with her, so she's stuck making Elijah Michelson a cock until she runs away from her marriage and goes off with Peter. Then Spider-Man 3, she becomes resentful because she has career aspirations and he's playing superhero. She's becoming jealous of his fame. She's getting unfaithful. She's cheated on every boyfriend she's ever had, mind you. Let's just be real about that. I made a whole video about Mary Jane Watson, but okay, we won't go further into that. Peter Parker, on the other side of this relationship, is an idiot. He's a bumbling idiot. This man is having discussions with her where she's clearly upset and he doesn't understand why. He's trying to give her a motivational speech about getting back on the horse that doesn't work. He also, this is a big character flaw in Peter Parker that nobody says, but it's true. He's in love with the idea of MJ that he had a crush on since he was a kid. Not who she actually is. He has this idea of an MJ, but he doesn't actually know what he wants, truly. And then when he goes full dark Peter, when he gets the symbiote, things get even worse. And then when Harry Osborn dies and we get the whole ending of Spider-Man 3, they reunite. They decide to let bygones be bygones despite torturing each other mentally throughout these films. They get back together, which never should have happened. They should have paid respects to Harry by just moving on from each other. This relationship was never bound to work, y'all. There's too much baggage here. Too much trauma. And it results in what we're about to talk about. Her death. We're picking up years later after this. This is the story after. Peter Parker's back to being Spider-Man. Him and MJ have accepted each other, their roles in this relationship and for the world. MJ's kind of gone away from her career aspirations and he's doing superhero shit, but he's focusing on finding a cure to the Goblin Serum so that anybody who potentially gets their hands on this, he can find a way to stop them, right? That's a big thing that was hinted at in No Way Home. He said, I've been looking for a cure for a long time. I've been figuring out for a long time. So he was creating the serum. Meanwhile, new villains are popping out. The Vulture, which was rumored to be one of the main villains in Spider-Man 4. He's got to fight them now. So he's very, very busy. And there's distance now being put between him and MJ. Let's say they're married by this point. But this is the most distant marriage you've ever seen. The same issues are cycling. These are not things that end. As long as he's still Spider-Man, the same issues are going to cycle, right? They can't even have... The sex life is gone. They can't even do it. Not because he's impotent. It's literally he's having issues. Not erectile dysfunction. He ain't trying to bust. Bro, this is about to get really weird in this video, but I'm going to tell you. Either she's got birth control or this dude's creating web condoms. He does not want to go through with actually climaxing. And there's a specific reason for that. Okay? I'm drawing on everything. I'm drawing on everything for this theory. And this coincidentally, this lack of being able to fuck her properly comes at the same time that Black Cat enters the fold and is helping Spider-Man vigilanting and all that, flirting with him and all this stuff. It's a really big problem for MJ and Peter's relationship, causing a lot of arguments and debates between them. Shit's just not going well. The sex life's not going well. The emotional connection's off. He's busy. She's busy. Bro, it's just not... This is a pathetic husk of a relationship. But because MJ's given up on the career aspirations, there's the only thing left for this relationship that could rebirth it is kids. Can we have kids? This is where we connect to why Peter ain't trying to bust inside of MJ, causing a really bad issue in their sex life. Now, there are rumors that, oh, did they have a kid called Mayday Parker? Is that who Sadie Sink's playing? That's not true at all, by the way. They never had a kid. Peter can't or is afraid to. Why? Listen, in the comic books, he straight up killed Mary Jane with his radioactive jizz. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying he has a fear of multiple things happening. MJ potentially dying because he doesn't know what that would do to her biology. Having a mutant kid with 7 fucking legs, a spider child mutant. Dude, Peter Parker's a dude who spurts literal webs from his wrists organically. You gotta be thinking, what would happen to my child potentially? Could my child inherit my powers and try to become like me? I don't want this superhero life, vigilante life for my son. There's so many factors at play here, causing Peter to be very, very he does not want to bust inside of his wife. So all this MJ just wants to get fucked. That's really what it is. Like, bro, she's given up this career aspiration. She's trying to grow as a partner, but there's just too many issues here. So she threatens to leave a couple times. That is the spark that ignites the flame. But the true bearer of the flame is Mysterio. Mysterio was another rumored villain for Spider-Man 4. This dude was going to play him. Bruce Campbell. This dude has always been just fucking around with Peter throughout the trilogy. He was a villain the entire time. Mysterio. What does Mysterio do? He loves his illusions. So through illusions and mental manipulation, he's going to twist and bend Peter's reality into a nightmare. He's going to twist the trauma and guilt of Peter's past. Uncle Ben's death, Harry's death, Eddie Brock's death, because remember, Peter does carry some guilt for pushing Eddie to the Venom stage. Him and MJ going down the road. Look, there's so much trauma here. Dude, Mysterio's making Peter undump it in the most terrible ways. He's destroying Peter's mind. So, through a combination of fatigue, exhaustion, and just straight up depression as a result of fighting Mysterio, Peter's mind breaks and becomes a split personality where Dark Peter, Bully Maguire, literally becomes a personality of his, drawing on what the symbiote created in him. It birthed a fucking persona that now is split. So he's turning into Bully Maguire without even knowing it at times. He needs it like he needs a drug. Because guess what? He's starting to realize in this film, maybe the symbiote was trying to help me. That's the happiest I've ever felt. It helped me eliminate the problems in my life. You know, that's the issue here. So it's the split personality comes on whenever he's triggered. This is where Mysterio's final illusion comes into play. His final illusion is Mary Jane Watson. Creating this Mary Jane Watson archetype, hallucinating, making Peter hallucinate that she's there, and making her the worst person of all time. Worse than Mary Jane already was in the Spider-Man trilogy. Imagine that. She's going to be saying to Peter, you're an F-slur. You're gay. You let Uncle Ben die. Harry was way bigger down there than you. I saw it. And Aunt May is depressed because of you. Maybe Aunt May's dead at this point in this series because all these years have passed by. All this trauma is being used against Peter. MJ's a demon in his mind now. That's what Mysterio has done. So Peter Parker's gotten mind fucked because not only does he have real problems with MJ, now this hallucination is propelling all those problems. Now he's thinking, fuck, what's real, what's not? MJ's trying to kill me, bro, in the mind. Well, he has to fight off all these villains. Let's say he ends up defeating Mysterio, okay? He beats Mysterio, done. A couple of years later pass, but that freaking persona's still there. The Bully Maguire, Dark Peter persona, okay? A couple of years later, him and MJ are having a dispute in the kitchen. Okay, this is realistically what would happen in a domestic incident in a superhero film. Okay, don't come at me for this. This is real, okay? Mary Jane Watson and him are having an argument, okay? Maybe this is real MJ, not hallucination MJ, okay? She says something that she shouldn't have said in the course of this argument. Because they're both heated. She says something that, in Peter's mind, only the illusion MJ would say. That's how bad the insult was, okay? Snaps. He snaps and triggers into Dark Peter. He's like, what did you say? What did you say to me? Then he starts to think, fuck. This is Mysterio again. He's back. This is another one of his illusions. I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. Bully Maguire. Goes full Bully Maguire. Maybe he webs her or smacks her across the fucking building. Across the room. Thinking she's Mysterio. As a result of him trying to fight her, thinking she's Mysterio, he pulls a Van Helsing and kills the woman of his dreams. He murders her in cold blood, thinking she's Mysterio's illusion. And his spider sense somehow doesn't help him, because his split personality has morphed that spider sense into something that bad. So she died, and basically he had to clean up the mess. His persona took control of that event and buried it deep in his psyche. So now he's repressed her death in his dark persona, and his normal Peter mode, thinks that she got killed by a villain or something. But realistically, it was him. It was him who did it. And this is like his cope mechanism due to his split personality. So, remember that scene in No Way Home? There are clues here, man. Remember the scene in No Way Home where him and Andrew Garfield are talking about their love lives? And Andrew asks him about how he managed it. And he said, it took us a while, but we made it work. His face when he says that, he gives like a half smile, half cope response. Bro, this is cope. This is his mind split. This is his normal personality, but in the real world, in his universe, he killed her under the Bully Maguire persona, and he doesn't even fucking know it. He knows it deep down, but he doesn't at the same time. That's the kind of look he gave. Okay? Split personality kind of shows a little bit. Remember when he's talking to Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, and they're talking about like, yo, how do your web shooters work? Like, how are you able to spray it from your wrist? How does that work? And he thinks that they're making fun of him, so he's like, are you mocking me? Like, he gets slightly serious for a minute, almost tongue-in-cheek, but it's also kind of serious, kind of not. He's like, are you mocking me? And then Tom Holland's like, no. We're just genuinely asking, like, does it come out of your wrist or does it come out anywhere else? This dude got triggered almost a little bit in this moment. Why? Because organic webs are a very rough point for him. Because that's the sole reason he didn't want to have sex with MJ and bust. Think about it. It's a big insecurity for him, having organic webs. It's the sole reason he was worried about maybe having kids with her, because he didn't know what that would look like. What could that do to her? What could that do to his kid's DNA? It's a big mute point for him, and that could have triggered him. We almost got a hint at Bully Maguire. Almost. When him and Doc Ock meet, he's like, how have you been? Doc Ock's like, how you been, boy? And he's like, oh, trying to do better. Now, some could say, okay, he had a rough life, right? In the Spider-Man trilogy. This takes place many, many years after the Spider-Man trilogy. You would think everything's good now. No. It's because he just recently killed MJ. And deep down, he knows it. Hell, when he stops Tom Holland's Peter from killing Green Goblin, he gives this look. What does that look entail? That look entails, yeah, I was close to this point too. I almost killed Green Goblin in the first movie, but he never got to this point. Tom Holland's aunt got killed by Green Goblin. He had every intention to straight up murder this dude with a glider. Peter was beating the shit out of Green Goblin, but it never got to that point. In my eyes, this is what this means is, I've killed someone before. I know what it's like. And no, I'm not talking about Uncle Ben. No, this isn't that kind of look. This is the kind of look where I've been where you've been. I murdered my wife. He knows it deep down. It's just repressed to his dark psyche, which would have been triggered many, many times over the course of No Way Home, but we never got our first true look at it, right? It never fully came out, but he knows deep down what he did. Peter Parker killed Mary Jane Watson. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. All the domestic disputes they had prior to Mysterio coming into the fray were only made worse by him turning her... Mysterio knew. Dude, Mary Jane was a terrible girlfriend to this dude. I witnessed him trying to propose to her at a restaurant, and it went to shit. I know how bad that relationship is. And now they think they're settled and everything's good. White picket fence, all that shit. No, fuck no. I'm going to use his wife against him. We're going to bend all of his worst fears about MJ, all of his anger towards her. I'm going to create the perfect illusion. He's going to kill her, and I'm going to frame him for it and use it and destroy his legacy as a hero. That was Mysterio's plan, and it almost worked. Mysterio got defeated before this could ever happen, but man, Peter killed her and covered it up, man. It's the darkest theory ever on the internet. I don't think anyone has anyone else made this theory? I really fucking hope not. If they do, they're a psyop sent from Hollywood to make me look bad. That's the truth. This is my own theory. I didn't copy this from shit. He killed her. It's the truth. Don't kill the messenger. He killed her. He murdered her, and has suppressed it in a split persona caused by Mysterio. That's it, man. That's the darkest Spider-Man story in live action ever. And if you want to know what happened to Andrew Garfield after Gwen Stacy died, that motherfucker became a straight-up killer. I'm gonna make a whole video on how his life looked like prior to No Way Home, because he references it in No Way Home. He stopped pulling his punches. If you want to see that video, let me know in the comments. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one Coke line at a time.